So, hi there again, guys. This is the second video of my bench press routine that, when I was competitive, took me from about 160 kilos or so up to 230 in competition. For those of you that will have watched the first one the other day, it was essentially just a bench press. This one is all high incline at 3 different levels. Excuse me, got a bit of a frog in my throat this morning. So essentially, it starts off quite light in a power rack with the pins set at about chin level, with the bench set at about 45 degrees. Now, if you have the West Side hall spacing convention on your rack, for a normal height guy, I'm 5'10", that's about pin 31, starting off with a couple of sets of 10, just to make sure that there's a lot of blood in there, reasonably lightweight. So the first set was just 30 kilos. Second set, again, this is 40, another set of 10 at the first pin height, just ensuring there's plenty of blood in there and everything just feels right. Now, I've got a little bit of I've got two small niggly injuries at the minute. I've got a bit of bicep tendonitis in my right arm from all of the sandbag work I've been doing, and I've got a little bit of an elbow thing on the other side, which doesn't hurt with the basic exercises as much. I'm aware of it, but causes me a lot of trouble with the isolation exercises for triceps. The useful thing here is I get so much tricep activation out of the high incline stuff that I tend to not do an awful lot of the isolation stuff. My main tricep exercise that I do enjoy is the easy bar skull crusher, but rather than using a standard skull crusher movement, I like to lower the bar down behind my head, so that you can use more weight. You can actually cheat more weight up, but it really does build pressing power. Anyway, as you can see, I'm changing the pin height now to what would be pin 33 on the West Side Spacing Convention. I finished that last small block there on 80 kilos. This is one of the young rugby players, a young Leicester Tigers hopeful there, standing in front of the camera. So that was 80 kilos. I finished on that set for 2 singles. Then you up the pin height so it's about nose level, and that first set is the top weight of the previous pin height. So this is 80 kilos for a single, and this seems to be fine. There's obviously explaining something to stand there about. He's doing a bit of bench pressing yesterday rather. So that was nice and easy from nose height. Put a bit more weight on here, and this will be another single. The beauty of this high incline is I feel that there's a real good crossover to the bench press, especially with a slightly closer grip, which I tend to employ. There's still an amount of upper back involved. There's still a fair amount of chest activation. It doesn't always seem that way, but there's a reasonable amount of chest activation in this high incline at 45 degrees. I know Franco Columbu used to talk about that. If you read some of his watch some of his interviews or read some of the articles that he wrote, so you do get a bit of good coverage. But the tricep activation is what I'm after mostly. So there we go now, 90 kilos, which felt quite smooth. Got that little elbow strap on that I made myself, the red and black one there. So that's the one I'll use for. Generally, I keep that on my right arm where I've got that little bit of bicep tendonitis, just for a bit of compression after I've put the capsaicin cream on. But in a minute, I'll change to normal compression elbow sleeves, just to keep the elbows in good condition, and a bit of support, and then wrist wraps, as you'll see. But this now, I'm really sorry about my horsey throat. I'm going up to 100 kilos now, and again, it's just for a single. After the initial sets of 10s, dropping down to 3s, 2s, it stays in singles up until the last couple of sets where we drop the pin height to the original height again, and then the weight drops down and we do a few sets of 10 with the elbows pushed forward, just to put a little bit more emphasis on the front shoulder or the anterior delt, whatever you're calling it. A little bit of hypertrophy work there. But this is the only 2 days, the only pressing I do when I'm thinking about getting a little bit serious with the bench press. I don't want to be too serious with it at the minute. I've got other goals, such as at the end of the month, going to Iceland for Husafell. Oh, there's my wife sneaking in there. She's a champion powerlifter too. She hasn't competed for a little while. She's thinking of competing in April, so you might see a little bit more of her training as time goes on. Anyway, this is now moving up to 120 kilos. I'm putting the compression on that I use so that my elbow sleeves are on to keep everything feeling good and keeping warm, and a little bit of pop out of the bottom there. And these elbow sleeves, they're nice and soft, but if you put them on tight, they're still quite rigid, if that makes sense. They're the Dave Tate's Elite FTS, nice soft ones. So this is 120 now, from hairline level. So I've put the pins up again. So that was the weight on the last weight on the previous set. As you can see, goes up after initial after an initial struggle, a stuttering start, up to 120, and then we're going to bump this up now to 130. That's my wife again, looking all sultry. And so now 130 for another single. Wrist wraps on. Getting a little bit serious. Now I would think as time goes on, this weight will move up to 140, 150 from this angle. I see a little bit of an issue there with my right arm. Didn't push at quite the same pace as my left, but that might be because of the little bit of tricep tendonitis I've got there. And then drop the pin height to the original height, pin 31, chin level. 60 kilos, it's just a small set of 10, which is easy enough. Goes up pretty much without any problem at all. The remarkable thing is how unbelievably light this feels at this point. It feels like you could throw that through the roof and just keep going all day with it. She's back, look. Set of 10. And then we will drop that down to, I think, 50 kilos. Which, again, feels unbelievably light. For those interested, the rack is the MirrorFit one. I'm not sponsored by MirrorFit. I love their kit. The bench is MirrorFit too. And that bench press station that my wife is on and off at the minute, that's MirrorFit. Most of our kit is MirrorFit. A really cool company. The weights, the eagle-eyed ones of you will see is MirrorFit too. So again, here we are, 50 kilos. Straps are gone. Elbow wraps are gone. Elbow sleeves and wrist wraps have gone. As you'll see, elbows are now being pushed forward and the grip's a little bit closer for another set of 10. Every single set and every single rep within those sets, apart from the very last one you'll see in a minute, the weight is pressed from a dead stop on these pins to generate that power. It's an old school style of training where not the West Side Barbell in Columbus, Ohio, but West Side at Culver City used to employ this sort of thing, and they used to get incredible results. So now dropping down to 40 kilos, which is the last set. I'm trying to drive my elbows as far forward as possible, super close grip, and these ones I just bring it down to my chin, and I do not put this on the pins. I just want to keep constant tension on them front shoulders and triceps there. It's quite easy, no problems with this at all. Feels good, feel pumped up. And then obviously, like every 50-year-old trying to relive his youth, making sure we've got the pump and we look all right, which obviously you never seem to think that you do. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you next time.